Hi, it's Hans at ahappierman.com. Today's topic is tips on how to make big decisions. Well, I think I have some things to offer here because I've made some decisions in my life, big decisions that were very, very good. They stood the test of time. They've helped me my whole life. And I've also made some really bad decisions that set me back, caused me frustrations and problems, and one that kind of just kind of almost destroyed my life. So let's get into it. I had my good decisions, a few very good decisions back when I was about 17 and 18. Now, this is a critical time in your life when you're in your late teens, because you're on that verge of being an adult, and some of the decisions you make can be kind of catastrophic for you if you make poor ones. And if you make some good ones, though, it will probably push your life forward into the future on a very positive scale, positive way. So let's say I always consider my 5 best decisions to be, one was kind of at the end of my junior year in high school when I decided I wanted to get contact lenses instead of glasses. So I obviously keep the glasses, but to get the contact lenses. Up until then, I had worn glasses since maybe about 5th grade. I got pretty poor eyesight. I can't really see very well at all after just a couple of feet in front of me. So if I don't have glasses, I can read if I keep the book or the computer or the phone right up close to my face. But otherwise, I need glasses to do everything else. And you can see I don't have glasses on. I have contact lenses. And now as I'm getting older, I need reading glasses with the contact lenses. But I don't find them to be that big of a deal. Let's say as a young man, I was very, very self-conscious about the glasses. They were by and large mostly ugly. I found it very, very difficult to look good in the glasses. You kind of buy them once and you're kind of stuck with them for a couple of years, and so if they're really ugly, you're kind of going to be real ugly until you try a new brand, right? And you're a child, so your parents are paying all the bills, and unless they have unlimited money for you to experiment with different types of glasses, you're going to look terrible. I've noticed that men, by and large, look pretty terrible in glasses, and by and large, they look much better without glasses. So that contact lenses, and for me, very shy, very self-conscious, very ridiculed with the glasses and other reasons. So contact lenses was an immediate improvement to my looks, and improving my self-confidence, and improving everything about my social life, and it improved that I could work out harder without worrying about the sweating so much and worrying about the glasses falling off. I could do more things physically and enjoy them more, and I just looked a lot better in general. So that was kind of a huge decision. Of course, I needed my parents to help with that. They paid for it, the eye exam and the contacts. So I'm forever grateful for them doing that for me. The next big decision I made was to start to drink alcohol, beer at that time, but just in general to start what I like to term partying. Not so much just drinking for drinking's sake, but to be a party guy and enjoy that part of life. So along with getting the contact lenses, so I started to feel better about how I looked, I started on this party lifestyle that I enjoyed for a long time and kind of enjoy to this day, not to abuse alcohol, but to make use of the party lifestyle, the enjoying the camaraderie, the meeting new people, the having fun with your friends, the going a little bit crazy, getting a little wild, meeting ladies and having fun that way. That's been a massive blessing in my life. I was so shy, so sheltered, so self-conscious as a child, a middle schooler, and a high schooler, that this just going out and getting my eyes opened to this party lifestyle was a major breakthrough in my life. Maybe the third big decision was to quit playing basketball in my senior year. I hated playing basketball. I was not good at it, no matter how hard I tried, no matter how much I practiced and played. I didn't have the body type. I didn't have the wind. I could never develop enough. I'm a big guy. Basketball players are typically more on the lean side, to run up and down the court, and I couldn't do it. And I hated playing it, but I played it for middle school and high school. Never really was a contributor. I just felt terrible about the whole experience. And it was doubly hard because I was good at football. I contributed a lot to our team. I was very good at football, but football was my sport. So I went from being this great football player on the team to this horrible basketball player. So it was a huge ego shock, and I would have been better served to do other things instead of playing basketball. So I quit before my senior year. The coach was livid with my decision, but I stuck by it, and it kind of salvaged my senior year, because every winter when the basketball season was, I just kind of hated going to school, because there would be basketball practice or basketball game after school. I hated the whole idea of it. I was embarrassed. It kind of ruined. It hurt to play. My feet would be terrible shape from the first moment of practice until months after the season ended. I have blisters and twisted ankles and aching knees, and it just hurt. It hurt to play. It just hurt to be around it. I couldn't enjoy any other free time because of it hurt all the time, and the embarrassment and the loss of time to do things that I like to do. So quitting was a huge bonus for me. So quitting things that you hate, I think I'm a big proponent of. The fourth decision was starting to lift weights. Our school got outfitted a pretty decent weight room in my senior year. So up until then, I didn't know a darn thing about weights. A couple of our best athletes on the team, their families bought them weights, so they had weights at their home, and these guys were like far and above the best athletes because they were stronger than everybody else, more muscular, and could just push their way around, and they were great for our teams in basketball and football because of the weights. But let's say my family wasn't in a position to do that expense, right? It's a big expense to buy weights. So when the school bought the weights, I started lifting weights after football and took to it right away. And a handful of guys and I who didn't play a winter sport would be enjoying the weight training after school. And we got a kick out of it. We loved challenging each other. We all got big and strong and muscular, and we loved it. And I loved it. And I love it still. And I did it all through college, and maybe for a good 10 years I lifted weights from that, let's say 18 to 28. Then I got married, and with the time commitments of marriage and family and house and job, I quit then when I got divorced, I jumped back into the weight training, and I do it. It's my main activity. So I'm in my late 50s, and it's very, very, very good for me. So I consider it a great decision. My fifth greatest, best decision at that time frame was deciding where to go to college and what to major in. So I went to a college in my state. It wasn't that expensive. It was expensive, but not as expensive as others. So, you know, a modest student loan with some parental help and some work that I did, I could handle it, and made it. And I made a very, very good friend in college, and I had a great time when I was there. And the major I picked is the thing I still do to this day. And what provides my income, it provides my security, my future, my savings, and my future pension. So it's a great decision on my part. I picked something that would have a good income. That was kind of first on my priority list. I didn't want to pick a college major that had no chance of a good income. It involved the skill set that I already had in high school, and I just kind of kept going with what I was already good at. And if you pick the right school, the right major, you have a chance of a good income for your whole life. And love what I do now. I'm in my dream job. I'm planning on staying it for a good long while yet, and it's helping to make up for, let's say, some bad decisions during my middle years with that I'm going to get to in a second. So yeah, I made some great decisions in those years, basically all within a year or so. I still find it kind of remarkable that those 5 decisions kind of served me so well all these years. It's just kind of a testament to, you know, maybe my parents raising me in a way that I could make my own decisions, and maybe a bit of luck, and maybe enough time to reflect on how I wanted my life to go even at that time. So I think spending time thinking about how you want your life to go is a big part of this decision-making process. Now, getting to the bad decisions, well, later in my 20s, at the end of my schooling at the school, I got my degree in a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering, and then I decided to go to graduate school. I was kind of talked into it by one of the graduate school professors. He said it would be a great opportunity, and for some reason I fell into that, and the bad decision was to go to that graduate school. I went there, spent 2 years. I was an emphasis in structural engineering, and I really didn't have the aptitude for that, nor the desire to do it even later on in life. And I'm very happy that I didn't become a structural engineer and have to do that my whole life. I've enjoyed other parts of the civil engineering much, much more. I got good at the things I do, whereas the structures, I don't know that I would have been that great at it, right? So the reason it was a bad decision, well, I didn't have the money to do so I had to rely on the college. So they gave me a scholarship for the tuition, and by working for them for 20 hours a week, I got a monthly stipend. And so instead of getting a job after graduation, I went to more schooling and got just a very, very small amount to live on each month. And so that, let's say, put me farther and farther financially behind. So what I wanted to convey about the bad decision versus the good decision is, in order to go to grad school, I needed the cooperation and the help of many, many, many people. And that is kind of the key thing I wanted to convey, is that your big decisions that can propel your life, either positive or negative, if you need the help of other people and the cooperation and full cooperation and lots of help, that is probably not a good decision, right? So I would have, in that graduate degree, I needed the full cooperation of the professor at the school, I needed the full cooperation of my parents and other family. And while I think all those people would give me full cooperation, they might not have the capacity to help you. For example, if my parents were kind of looking forward to me graduating from college and getting a job, they still have 2 more kids they have to raise, their own retirement, they're taking care of older people in the family, let's say shoveling more money at me while I'm in college for 2 or 3 or more years. That was, let's say, beyond their capacity, and they did what they could. They helped me, but it was, let's say, kind of a foolish, overly selfish decision on my part, right? I would have been better served to get working and get going on my life. So that idea of needing other people, if you're making a big decision and you need other people to help you, and you need them to help you for long periods of time, that is something you should really think very long and hard about. If you need your parents to keep paying you hundreds of dollars every month for more and more and more years, that is something you should seriously consider. You have to get out on your own at some point in your early 20s, and trying to expect them to keep giving you lots and lots of money, I just don't think that's a good decision. So I think a lot of people unconsciously know that, because you'll notice in the upper levels of graduate school, the kids who are in those degrees are going to come from rich families, because you need a lot of money to continue to go to school in your 20s. You need a wealthy parents, and that's great. That's great for them. But if that isn't your family, then it's probably something you should strongly consider not doing if you're a young person considering advanced degrees. Unless there's only some advanced degrees that are going to be so financially rewarding that they'll pay off in the long run for you. In my case, a master's degree in civil engineering doesn't really give you any more money. It doesn't really, in my case, it hasn't helped me financially. And then that decision kind of put me farther and farther behind. But if you notice, the 5 decisions I made in my late teenage years were just things that involved me. The decision was made, I don't need any more cooperation from anybody with those 5 decisions, right? Getting the contacts, well, after my parents bought the initial ones, I just continued to buy them all these years. It was my decision. They put in the initial money. I've put in all the money since. The weight training, I do the weight training. I don't need anybody's help to go weight train. The learning how to quit something, that's a decision that I've thoroughly ingrained in my life, knowing how to quit something that I hate. Going to school, I put in the effort to get the degree. I paid off the school loan. I worked in the summers to try to defray the cost, and there was a run-out period on needing help from my parents during to get that initial bachelor's degree. And then the party lifestyle, well, yeah, I can just pick up and party at any time I want or don't want. But the graduate school, yeah, I needed enormous help from my parents, and they didn't, at that time in our family life, that really wasn't a good. My sister was in college, my brother's in high school, they've got lots going on. There's only so much well to draw from, right? So certainly if you're going to thinking about graduate school, if your parents are very, very wealthy and they have unlimited money, you may be able to draw on their generosity. But if you don't, I wouldn't consider it. Another big decision I made was getting married, right? When I got married, and in my late 20s, of course, you need the full cooperation of your wife, and I didn't really have that in my marriage. So eventually I had to leave, and I talk about all the reasons and leave your wife and become a happier man with a 3-step system available on the allhappierman.com website. Basically things just fell apart in our marriage, and she became verbally abusive, and I had to leave. But a marriage requires full cooperation, and I think at a minimum, you, as trying to be a happier man, you would spend many years dating a lady, getting to know her, and then when you finally decide to get married and you pop the question, you should spend a year or more in being an engaged couple and watching, observing, seeing how your life may play out with this lady. It has to be a harmonious relationship, almost a perfect business partnership, and you have to get along very, very well with her. And I don't think I didn't give proper time to this decision. So that's another thing. When you're making big decisions, you want to, and they involve other people, you need to give this a lot of time. Not days, not hours, not weeks, not months, years. You should give it years. So I think my decision to graduate school was made kind of in haste. I didn't give it a lot of thought. The professor came, gave us a talk. I said, yeah, that sounds good. I started the paperwork and kind of went ahead with it without really fully realizing the ramifications. I didn't really talk to anybody else about it. I just kind of went ahead with it, and it was a mistake. And kind of the same with the marriage. I met her 1 year, proposed the next year, we got married 6 months, 6-9 months later. There was not enough time. So with big decisions, you need time, lots and lots and lots of time to consider it, to consider all the ramifications, all the potential pitfalls, all the things that can go wrong with your life by making this decision, right? Because this is your life, right? The decisions you make will affect you for the rest of your life, for years anyway, for decades. This decision, the decision of mine to get married, affected me. It made my happy-go-lucky single man life go to extreme non-happy, extreme not-go-lucky, financial problems from the get-go, and emotional trauma and devastation over the years. So that's kind of the main way to make these major decisions. If it's something that you can do on your own and you can carry out all the steps necessary yourself, and the cooperation that you need from other people is kind of either minor or brief, then you can probably be assured that that's going to be a good decision on your part. And and also if you need your decision to hinge on other people, you want to know those people very, very, very well, and get to know them and spend a lot of time, and don't be in a hurry to make big decisions. And if somebody's trying to push you to make a big decision in a hurry, I would resist. I know my wife, my fiance, kind of pushed the idea of getting married as soon as possible on me, and I just kind of rolled with it, right? I didn't resist. But looking back, it would have been better to kind of slow down. You don't want to make big decisions in a hurry. You want to sit with them for a long, long, long time. And at least you'll have the opportunity to explore how this may play out in your life. So give that idea some thought, all for now.